What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Heroclix video. This is going to be a metagame breakdown for the first week of the Silver Age format. This is going to cover the two ROC regional events that happened in Greensboro, North Carolina and Huntsville, Alabama. Just wanted to get an idea of what everybody's playing. Also, just nobody knows what's out there, so we want to know what IDs are being played, what objects, if there's any older figures being played. This is going to be kind of like on the fly. You'll see it too on all of these little slides here. But just some stats. As you know, the top two teams were from the two winning lists. The two winning teams from both events was a mystical theme with a double black heart, and the other one is a Thanos cosmic theme. The Thanos Legacy, that is. But let's start with the theme teams, or the archetypes people were playing. There were out of 16 lists. Remember, there are over like 30 or 40 different lists, but we're only going to take the top 16 here because eight from each. There were 3 non-theme teams, 3 mystical theme teams, 3 monster teams, and then 2 Secret Six, 2 X-Men, and then 1 each of Latveria, Scientist, Cosmic. Of course, there's going to be a lot of crossover here with figures. So the number 1 played figure in the format, to no one's surprise, Sky Tyrant. There were a total of 8 copies between the 16 lists. The second most played was Commissioner, 7 copies, and then the third most played is Scarab with 5. Note that all 3 of them are part of Secret Six, but also all 3 of them are monsters. So with monsters and Secret Six being 2 of the more popular themes to play, it's no surprise that you'll see these, and of course, just all 3 of them are just solid. Now, when it comes to the objects, the top 3 objects are Power Gem at 5, Reality Gem at 3, and Remaker Ring at 3. Of course, we all know Power Gem kind of goes hand in hand with Sky Tyrant. Reality Gem, in the format right now, it's interesting that in Silver Age, at least currently, there aren't as many Perplex in the format, right? Because a lot of the pieces just get their pluses just from either the traits or objects, or they just already have high stats to begin with. So Perplex isn't needed as much, but on some teams that do need it, Perplex is always welcome. And the surprising one I noticed here is the Remaker Ring. It gives shape change, poison, solid, but that's just like a object that I did not expect to see being played at all, really. There's quite a few objects, right? If you want to go back to the actual Silver Age pieces, non-modern. But Remaker Rings up there. There's only 3, but still, it's more than some of the others. And then now this is the big one here. We wanted to look at the ID cards. So the number 1 played ID card, which that's actually, I guess it's a little bit of a surprise for me, is the Cyclops Student. There's 7 copies of this. The second most played is the Beast Student at 5, and then tied for third at 3 each are Flash and Green Arrow. Now, I fully expected Flash and Green Arrow to be up here at some form or another, because Green Arrow is just probably one of the best call-ins. It's just that it's 80 points, so that does give you a restriction. But Flash, just throw on any team. I think Flash should be going up a lot more. The Beast has a couple good options, so this is why I think the Beast ID card, both the student and the faculty, will start going up in play and in value, because you have the 40-point figure from the Regenesis set, which gives you +1 combat values and battle fury, and then the 75-point value Chase from the Empire set, which has blades, outwit prob, and characters within opposing characters within 4 squares can't use Safeguard Outwit, which is really big if you're trying to get around Thanos or like stop clicks and whatnot. So, and then of course Cyclops. I think on all of them they all played the same Cyclops. It's the 50-point Xavier School version, not the 40-point one, the 50-point one, because he has Precision Strike, and if he's on the other side of the map, closer to the opponent's side, he's Pen Blast. He can poof himself away by doing a running shot and sidestep. He's got 8 range, solid attack, and he breaks blocking when he shoots. And with a lot of barrier right now and maps where you can just kind of bunker down, he can actually kind of get through it a little bit. So, interesting. Let's take a look at the non-modern pieces, because a lot of these are modern figures, because this is the first week, so it is kind of hard to gauge what kind of pieces you want to play in from the silver portion into your teams, because it's been a while. So just coming down, obviously all the ID cards are going to be on here, and that's it's quite a bit. There's a good mix of a good mix of ID cards. Right now, the next big one, I guess you could say, would be Groot, because Groot is one of the best figures just overall for 20 points. He does so much. Great keywords, Retaliator with a great effect, starts with Pogs, makes more Pogs that are flurry Pogs, and he has leadership. So this is the, until we see Skinny Steve in Disney Plus, Groot is the cheapest and, well, I guess you would say best leadership piece you can get for your keywords. Carnage is another one, 10-point Retaliator, one of the best. So anybody who watches or who follow the channel and watch the top 5 Retaliators for bronze, they're all here. I think the only one here not here is Surtur, but I think that's going to change soon. But there's Tri-Sentinel's another one. So Tri-Sentinel, Carnage, and Groot are 3 of the top Retaliators, and they're all here, and they're non-modern. So expect to see a lot of those. And then further down the line here, we have some Headmasters. So X-Men should see a little bit of a boost once people kind of get their footing on how to build teams for silver, but X-Men should see a big bump, because all the Headmasters from the Xavier School are all viable, because they're all going to come with a free ID card. Now that could hurt if you're doing X-Men swap. You're going to have to really be judicious with your slots, because the swap people and then the ID cards are all going to take a bunch of spots. And then also if you want to play like troublers and troublemakers and whatnot. But Banshee, Cyclops, Moira, Professor X, Wolverine, they all have Headmasters. Storm, you can all play them. But the ones that we've seen here, at least that I've seen in the top 8 on both of these, is there's a Banshee, the rare from Xavier School, and Wolverine, the super rare. Of course, they made a legacy card for that guy. Okay, and I think that's the only one here I'm looking. Oh yes, and of course in the X-Men team, Lila Cheney. She is a big boost for those X-Men teams, because the X-Men teams usually play a lot of pieces, especially if you're playing like a Cable swap team where Cable just comes with 2 other people, so you have 3 people on there. Lila can carry 4 people, and she has a 14 move or something like that. So that helps quite a bit, right? And then the other one is Shredder. There's a mini Shredder here that was in the top 8. He is a monster, and I think he's a warrior as well. So you might see him, you might not, but auto damage is always good, and also he's 90 points. Kind of takes a while to kill him. He can call in Green Arrow. He can call in a bunch of guys. So Mini Shredder's another one. And then, of course, Sheriff Strange for the anti-ID, or at least slowing the ID card disruptor, where they have to be given a double power action, which means if they have a token, they can't call in. And then, of course, Unseen, the anti-retaliator, who has prob outwit, ignores a bunch of stuff. Kind of hard to kill because I think he has a super senses on 4 through 6. He's a power cosmic, and he can call in some solid pieces because he's at 65 points. And then Wesley Crusher. I think Wesley Crusher, if you're playing Scientist team, solid. Star Trek's basically out, and he's a 15-point perplexer. And then my personal favorite taxi in for bronze for us, but for silver it's really solid too, is Overdrive. If you're playing non-theme, this guy's just solid, right? He can carry 4 people, moves far 11 squares. Kind of hard to kill because when you kill the Pog, he just pops out, no points. And he has sidestep, so it moves 11 and sidestep. So you have quite a bit of movement, because a lot of the taxis now, they just move. They might move far, but that's it. But being able to reposition with Overdrive afterwards is actually really, really important if you want to hide someone or position somebody else in front or whatnot. But I expect to see more Overdrive as people kind of explore more into silver. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about here was the Joker's gas canister. There was one copy of this. Very, very simple, like, attack boost. If we're talking about the non-perplexing pumps, this gets you +1 attack and damage and Battle Fury. And you don't even need to equip it. You just need to break it, and then it goes onto your guy, and then they could just go with the +1/+1 and Battle Fury. So if they have shape change, you're just going to get around it. Already getting a nice, it's kind of like your power gem, but instead of getting the +1 damage, you're getting Battle Fury. Of course, the downside is you get -2 defense or something like that, but who cares? You're trying to go aggressive if you're playing this. But that's the metagame breakdown. Obviously, Monster, Mystical, and Secret 6 are going to be like really big. I suspect to see a lot more tentpole Thanos teams because he has a lot more options here. Tentpole ID batteries might see an uptick. I mean, there was one here, a couple of them here already, because there was a couple Thanos and a Darkseid. He's not really an ID battery, but he's just kind of like a tentpole guy that can also call in IDs. But that's what I got. Let me know what you guys think, what the format looks like now, where you think it's going to go, what other pieces that you'll see or expect to see, or something that's overrated or whatever. Remember, this is only week 1. I'll be back with week 2. Yeah, that's it. So hope you enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll be back next time. Remember, guys, only bad players blame the dice. See ya.